It's been some time since you've seen me, but today we're back with a very special video. We have one trade for every NBA team in this offseason. Pick number 3 from the 76ers, which would ideally be Ace Bailey, headed to the Nets in exchange for pick 8, 27, and 36 going to the 76ers. In this trade, this is the Nets trade I have. I like this a lot for the Nets. The Nets need a franchise player. 76ers need role players for the draft. 76ers have no money whatsoever, so they use 3 draft picks to add veteran draft talent. Simple. The Portland Trailblazers have the 11th overall pick, but they do have a young team that looks to be good, and they don't really need any more young talent necessarily, as the team has enough young talent. They just need to piece the puzzles together, and actually they need to cut money. So in this trade, I have the Blazers receiving Josh Green, Grant Williams, and picks 33 and 34 in this year's draft, while shipping Jeremy Grant and pick 11 to Charlotte. Hornets do it because they want more draft capital. They're going to have to eat that Jeremy Grant contract, but, they do it for the draft capital since they're not going anywhere right now. The Blazers, they're getting closer to contending. They're one of my teams that I think is going to take a huge step forward next season. So if I'm the Blazers, I'm getting off Jeremy Grant's pathetic contract, as it's horrible, and I'm making a play for young talent and Josh Green, and then Grant Williams for a cheaper veteran option over Jeremy Grant. This is a great move for the Blazers, and that's why I recommend that. My Phoenix Suns, we're trading Kevin Durant to the Rockets if it's up to me. I don't even know what the full logistics of that trade would be. I just know Kevin Durant to the Rockets for something like salary filler, pick number 10, and then our own picks. I'll be happy with that. Maybe a Jabari Smith Jr. if we're feeling really good about ourselves. Cam Whitmore. Depends who the salary filler is. But bottom line, I want pick number 10, and I want our own picks. Simple enough. There's clearly no avoiding the financial restrictions the Boston Celtics are going to be placed with this offseason, but I do like the idea of them sending Kristaps Porzingis and Sam Hauser along with their 2026 first-round pick to the Nets in exchange for Cam Johnson and Dariq Whitehead. Now, I know what we're all thinking right now. 2026 first-round pick from the Celtics might be valuable since there's no Jason Tatum. I don't think they're going to trade Jaylen Brown, even though I'm very intrigued in that idea. But the Celtics are also going to be in the back end if they can't get that far under the luxury tax and out the second apron. So the value of that pick fluctuates, and if you're the Celtics, it's not really something you're looking at since you're going to have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum the year after. Cam Johnson is a cheaper wing option, and he's a perfect three-point shooter to fit the team scheme, and I like that move for them. Sure, you can look at other trades, but I like getting Cam Johnson, and honestly, this is kind of a steal for Cam Johnson. Keep in mind, all these trades are going to benefit the team that they're for much more than the team they're trading with. I tried to make it as realistic as possible, though. Moving to Chicago, I have Jonathan Kuminga headed to the Bulls in exchange for Nikola Vucevic straight up. The Bulls were able to pull this off. I would be absolutely in love with their offseason. Cam Johnson again. I mean, you might hear his name a lot in this video, but I like Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton heading to Memphis. The Grizzlies need 3-point shooting and a 3-and-D wing. That's where Cam Johnson comes in. And they need a true center to man the 5. That's Nick Claxton. Zach Edey's not getting it done. Brandon Clark's not getting it done. Triple J is not a center. So getting Nick Claxton is going to be massive. Cam Johnson's going to help with the floor spacing and reliable 3-point shooting, and he can also defend. So you're not losing much because you are going to trade Desmond Bane in this deal. Desmond Bane would be heading to the Nets along with a first-round pick in 3 seconds. Desmond Bane does have value, so the Nets would do this because they can flip him. But yeah, this is one of my more aggressive trades, I guess, is the wording I want to use for it. As we all know, the Oklahoma City Thunder are in the NBA Finals right now, and in this deal, I have a finesse job with the Bulls, as the Thunder would receive pick number 12 in exchange for picks number 15 and 24 heading to Chicago. Just like the first trade of the video, I got an almost identical trade between the 76ers and Nets. The only difference is the 76ers landing an extra first-round pick compared to the first one, as it benefits the 76ers more in this regard. For the Atlanta Hawks, I have a massive 3-team trade that lands them Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford will be asking for money, and the Hawks do have money with all those free agents coming off the books. He is a great shot blocker, explosive big that can jump. He can catch lobs. He's going to block shots. He's going to be a perfect fit next to Trae Young and all their young wings. So I like the idea of Daniel Gafford. It's going to cost them a little bit, but Daniel Gafford's kind of that guy that I like next to Trae Young. So I'm doing this in a heartbeat. The Mavericks would receive Lonzo Ball, Kobe Buffkin, and pick number 22. Lonzo Ball is the point guard they need. I mean, Kyrie's going to miss time. Ball can play next to Kyrie and without him, so that's a seamless fit. And then the Bulls receive pick 13, which is big for them as they get back-to-back picks, 12 and 13, and then Terrence Mann, another young wing. Blockbuster and San Antonio Spurs go hand-in-hand together this offseason, and that's going to hold true with this next trade. With the Miami Heat's future kind of in shambles right now because Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo kind of got embarrassed in the playoffs without Jimmy Butler, and they don't really have a true number one option moving forward. You don't know what Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo are going to give you as first and second options, as they're both suited for second and third option roles. Then you have to look at the fact that they don't have anything around them, so competing is going to be difficult. They don't got the draft capital. They don't got the young assets. They don't have anything going for them. So it's very real that they could be rebuilding and moving Tyler Herro or Bam Adebayo this offseason, maybe even both. The San Antonio Spurs, though, they want to place a center next to Victor Wembanyama. They want Wemby at the 4. I think that's one of the worst kept secrets in the league. Wemby doesn't want to play the 5 long term. He wants to play the 4. Acquiring Bam Adebayo would allow that, as Bam is a perfect 5 to complement Wemby, as he is 6'9", but he's a great center, but he can also play the 4, 5, and it's very interchangeable. You've already seen how he's playing next to Kello, where and Victor Wembanyama is infinitely better in every aspect of the game. So I like the San Antonio Spurs going out and calling up the Heat, saying Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, pick number 14, and 3 future first-round picks for Bam Adebayo. That's my boldest move for the San Antonio Spurs, and I think this would be absolutely a home run deal for them. Heading to Utah, the Jazz have a very interesting situation, as I personally believe that their backcourt is set and they don't need another guard, as they already got Keontae George and Isaiah Collier in the backcourt. Both players have been pressed in their 2 years. The team has just been really bad, and they've been mixing minutes with veterans that don't need to be there. I'm looking at the Jazz, and I'm saying, pick number 3 and Paul George. You take that from Philly, and you trade away Lauri Markkanen's bad contract and pick number 5. That's what I would do if I was the Jazz. I think this is a winning move for them. For the New York Knicks, I got a smaller end trade for them. I have them shipping off Pacome Diabite or Diadite to the Wizards in exchange for pick number 18. I think at pick number 18, they can get a player that can actually play in the rotation, unlike the player that they're trading. For the Hornets, I have them acquiring pick number 7 and Jordan Hawkins from the Pelicans in exchange for Mark Williams. They almost traded Mark Williams at the deadline. I mean, they actually tried to trade him, so realistically, does Mark Williams want to be there? No. Pelicans need a center. Mark Williams is an option there. Pick 7, it doesn't have a guarantee that Kaman Maluach is going to be there, but if he is, both teams would draft him. I think Mark Williams is the center that the Pelicans would ideally like. Jordan Hawkins is a good shooter. Gives you the same value as Dalton Connect would, just a little bit worse depending on who you ask. And then pick number 7 obviously is a very good asset, and I think this is the trade the Hornets should make. I don't have a specific blueprint for the deal, but I think the Dallas Mavericks should acquire Kobe White in a 3-team trade, shipping out Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington. Again, I don't have the full blueprint for it since there's too many logistics, but I think Kobe White is the perfect guard for the Dallas Mavericks. If you were to ask me which team would benefit the most from a Kevin Durant trade, I don't think it's going to be Houston. I don't think it would be San Antonio. Definitely not San Antonio, actually. I think it would be the Minnesota Timberwolves. Listen, the Timberwolves might not have the crazy assets, but when it comes down to it, the Timberwolves need a player not named Anthony Edwards that can create shots and make shots. Kevin Durant's a 3-level scorer and an elite playmaker, even though he's underrated in that regard. He can defend, so he fits the team. The only thing about it is that they need to get him at a bargain price, because if you get KD at the price that the Suns got him for, well, the team's obviously losing all their depth and whatnot. If it can come down to a Rudy Gobert or a Julius Randle being the centerpiece of the trade, now I prefer Julius Randle if I'm the Timberwolves, but Rudy Gobert for the Suns since I'm a Suns fan. I'd like Rudy Gobert more, which is crazy to say. But yeah, if you can get one of those two players as the centerpieces and then just piece together minimal assets around it and just get Kevin Durant at a bargain price, maybe one or two picks, I think that's the best way forward for Minnesota. I mean, they're going to benefit the most from getting him if they get him. It's just a matter of if they have enough. And I think they will have enough, but it's going to be the bare minimum. No McDaniels, no Naz Reid, no Anthony Edwards, of course. But I think the Minnesota Timberwolves would be the best team for Kevin Durant and would benefit the most. And that's why I'm going to sit there and say, if they can get KD at a bargain price, that's the trade they should make. Another blockbuster for you involving the San Antonio Spurs. I feel like we're going to get one, whether it be Giannis, KD, or I don't even know. But this trade comes from the Bucks because it is a Giannis deal. If you're the Bucks, you are calling up San Antonio saying, I will give you Giannis. I just want Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, pick number 2, pick number 38, and 3 first-round picks. This is the hefty package, but it helps the Bucks in so many ways that you can't really avoid it if you're this team. I don't care. Giannis, if you're trading for Giannis hasn't made any indication that he wants to trade, but who knows? That could change within days. If you trade Giannis, you're getting Dylan Harper in return. That's the only way you're trading Giannis at this point. Nobody else has the value. Nobody else has the assets. Listen, 3 first-round picks and pick number 2 and pick 38, that's 5 basically first-round picks. That's rebuilding your draft capital that was depleted from the Dame trade. Then you get Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sohan. 3 young players to help build this treacherously terrible, whatever you want to call it, young core that the Bucks don't have. The Bucks literally have no young core. This is the best possible trade for the Bucks and a Giannis deal. If you trade him, don't send him to the Knicks. Don't send him to any place that you won't get this value from. You only trade Giannis if you get value back. That's the only way possible, okay? And you're losing Brook Lopez, so your team might be better anyways in the future. The Orlando Magic are going to have an interesting offseason because they desperately need a point guard that can shoot the ball and can play make at a high level. I have one point guard that I really love in that regard. That's a high-end point guard. Now, he's been playing next to Donovan Mitchell in the backcourt as it is Darius Garland. But if we don't remember, Darius Garland was all-star caliber. I mean, right before Donovan Mitchell came over, right? Or was it the same year? I don't remember. Within those 2 years. But he was still within his first few years. He was still young. He's still young at this point, but he's looked like he's taken a step back because he's been playing in the shadow of Donovan Mitchell. He doesn't always have the ball in his hand. He doesn't always get the luxury of being that focal point of the offense. He's not going to be the focal point of the offense, but he's going to have the ball in his hand a lot, as he will be the one guard on this roster that brings it up a lot. Darius Garland as the point guard and the playmaker. Listen, Darius Garland's playmaking is out of this world. He's one of the best playmakers in the league right now. He's able to shoot the ball. He's able to score. Playing next to Paolo, Franz, Jalen Suggs, and then whoever they want to run at the center will allow him to take off. And I think Darius Garland in Orlando is perfect for both him and the Magic. And I think it won't even cost the Magic that much, as it would be KCP, Jonathan Isaac, Corey Joseph, and a first and a second. That's a steal, if you ask me. You look at the Denver Nuggets. They need depth. They need quality players, and they need to trade Michael Porter Jr. I don't care if the management likes whatever you call it, but yeah, Missouri connection, blah, blah, blah. Nuggets need to win. They have Nikola Jokic, the best player in the NBA. I mean, make the trades. Make the trades you need. I don't care. I don't care about your Missouri connection. Anyways, in this deal, because I just went on that little rampage about it, even though that wasn't even a rant for real. Michael Porter Jr. headed to Utah. I think Michael Porter Jr. in Utah would be a good fit for him long term. In exchange, Michael Porter Jr., Zeke Naji, and a 2031 pick in exchange for John Collins and Colin Sexton. The Jazz should be looking to get off of both of those players' contracts. They should be looking to move on from vets as a whole because, listen, you got no young talent. What's all this money doing? What's this money doing in Utah? Anyways, it's the Nuggets trade. John Collins and Colin Sexton, both are going to complement the team perfectly. Colin Sexton going to be sixth man. John Collins is going to be an explosive wing that can dunk the ball, play off the ball, cut, shoot, do it all next to Jokic. Well, if you asked me a few days ago, I would have said move Benedict Mathurin if you're the Pacers before his extension, but he's breaking finals records and whatnot. So I'm not entirely sure what to do. I mean, financially, moving Benedict Mathurin before his extension is the right move. But honestly, if you're the Pacers, you don't even need to make a trade. Pelicans need a center. I don't know why they want to keep Zion, but I think you could get off of Zion with Zion and a pick head into Sacramento in exchange for Domantas Sabonis. But I don't really care what the Pelicans do at this point. They just need to trade for some value. I don't even know if they know what they're doing this offseason. So it's really hard to gather what they're doing. Realistically, trade Zion, trade McCollum. I like your forwards as you have Herb Jones. Trey Murphy Jr. looks good. You can use your draft pick as 7 to draft a center or a guard. I would do a guard since Yves Missi looks good. But you know what? The Pelicans don't know what's going on, so I'm not even going to waste my time with that team, even though you should let me rebuild them. Hire me, please. This is atrocious what I'm seeing. I know I just talked about the Miami Heat rebuilding, trading away Bam, maybe trading Herro away, and I think they should trade Tyler Herro away regardless. Now, Bam Adebayo I think should stay, but I look at it, Tyler Herro's value is never going to be any higher. He just was an all-star this year. He's averaging, 25, 5, and 5. That's all-star numbers. That's intriguing to a lot of teams. But are we confident he's going to do it again? Maybe not. But you also want to rebuild and you need to retool your roster. The best way to do that is to trade him while his value is the highest. And I think they should trade him to the Rockets in exchange for Jaylen Green, pick number 10, and a future first. That's a solid deal because Jaylen Green is younger and he has a lot of potential. Pick number 10 is valuable and a future first is valuable depending on what happens in the future. So I think getting that in exchange for Tyler Herro is the best way forward for the Miami Heat. De'Aaron Fox is my favorite player in the NBA. The Sacramento Kings don't need a point guard because of what they've just done, so I have a better idea. Why not trade DeMar DeRozan and a draft pick for Andrew Wiggins, since Andrew Wiggins would complement your team very well. There you go. That's better than another point guard you waste and ruin because you know you can just draft one considering what you've drafted at the point guard position of late. Emmanuel Quickley is making a lot of money right now, and I don't think the Raptors need to pay him all that. Sure, Giannis, Kevin Durant, those rumors with the Raptors are real, I guess. Cool. Trade Emmanuel Quickley. That's what you really need to focus on. And even if you get one of those superstars, you're still not going to be good. Looking at the Lakers, you need size, you need length, you need defense, you need a center. Austin Reeves is not needed since he cannot play next to Luka Doncic. I don't care what we're going to say. He needs the ball in his hand too much. The Magic need a point guard. Austin Reeves could be at the helm of the one for the Magic. I don't know. That might be a good fit. It's going to be a good fit if he gets traded there. But I think you could trade Austin Reeves and Maxi Kleber and get Wendell Carter Jr. and Jonathan Isaac in return from the Magic. I mean, Lakers fans I've talked to like that idea. Golden State, you need a center. I like having a center that can play, make, and defend without being too ball dominant. Jakob Poeltl is going to be a good fit there. I think you could trade Moses Moody and Trey Jackson Davis along with a second-round pick to Toronto for him. And if that's the case, I'm jumping all over this move, and that's why this is the trade that I think the Warriors should make. If you're the Washington Wizards, it's not really any trade that's crazy. You should just facilitate a blockbuster. Get on the Giannis trade, be the third team in that, or the KD trade, or any other team for real. It's not that crazy. Just get on one of those trades and be the third team involved. One of my more interesting trades revolves around the Clippers. I don't think Bogdan Bogdanovic really panned out for them. They expected him to have some type of scoring burst off the bench and just be better. Derrick Jones Jr. was great for them, but at the end of the day, they need somebody that can score the ball and just breathe life into the team. You look at James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. Both do not have that much energy. They both play like they're laid back, and that's fine since they put up numbers. But when it comes to the playoffs, they need a player that wants to shine in the moment, They need a player that's also proven in the moment. And Jordan Poole has been proven in the moment before. Jordan Poole is a willing scorer. He can come off the bench. He wants to be a shooter. He wants the ball. He wants to score. That's exactly what the team is missing in Los Angeles. That's why I think the Clippers should trade for Jordan Poole along with Justin Champagnie. And I think that's a great deal for the Clippers. I think Jordan Poole is a player they really need. I look at the Houston Rockets. I'm not opposed to them making an all-star, superstar splash, whatever they want. But realistically, if they don't do that and they want to remain slower paced and keep their young players and not be so aggressive and really just build with what they got, I think Drew Holiday and Sam Hauser are perfect for the team. Those two players might be cheaper than normal as the Celtics are looking to cut money, and both of those players would be the Celtics cutting money if they traded them. Fred VanVleet and a first-round pick to Boston in exchange for Drew Holiday and Sam Hauser might be enough, and I think this is what the Rockets should do. Since Drew Holiday is by far an upgrade from Fred VanVleet, he's a better veteran. He can play on and off the ball. He can be a leader. His defense is amazing. The only thing I think about is his shooting, but Fred VanVleet's an inefficient shooter. You get Sam Hauser in the deal, another level to shooting that you didn't have already. Cleveland Cavaliers, Giannis. Get Giannis. You need a true number one option. It makes no sense how Donovan Mitchell really just does all that and the team doesn't win. And Donovan Mitchell sometimes has bad moments. Donovan Mitchell's a good playoff player, but he's not a one option on a championship team. Giannis is. Get Giannis and Donovan Mitchell as a duo in Cleveland. Trade Jared Allen, Emmanuel Quickley, and a ton of draft capital to Milwaukee. And then Darius Garland should be shipped to Toronto, and that's a perfect Giannis deal for the Bucks. It's a perfect deal for the Cavaliers, and it's a decent deal for the Raptors. Giannis to Cleveland playing alongside Donovan Mitchell would break the NBA, and they'd be able to maintain their depth as they're getting rid of Jared Allen and Darius Garland and draft picks. Yeah, Cleveland Cavaliers would thrive off this trade. And my final trade, this is one of my favorite trades because I love the idea of Jaylen Brown getting traded. And I love the idea of him in Detroit in the backcourt next to Cade Cunningham or even at the three. Jaylen Brown's defense would be perfect in Detroit as it's a lot of their identity. He can shoot the ball enough, and he can be an off-ball and on-ball scorer that's desperately needed. It will cost Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, Simone Fontecchio, and draft capital, but if I'm the Pistons and I want to get a star, I want Jaylen Brown. And I think Jaylen Brown's a perfect fit here. And I think this deal isn't too much for the Pistons to do. You're not giving away too many assets. The Celtics do it because they're trying to cut money, and that's exactly what it does. I love this trade a lot. This is my favorite trade, Jaylen Brown to the Pistons. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next. Y'all stay safe. Have a good one. Bye.